Shalom Israel. First and foremost, I want to give all praises, all honor, all glory to Yahweh, Ba'Shem Yahushua, Ba'Shem Kakdash, double honor to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone for teaching us his truth. Peace and blessings to whole to Israel and Shalom. Yahweh is the name of the Heavenly Father in ancient Hebrew, Ba'Shem is his name, and Yahushua is the name of the begotten Son. Back on the lesson, and today going to go into Esau Edom's blessing, which is the sword, and go into the great wrath that he's going to come down with. As you see all his technological advances that he has made, you see him creating robots and attaching, assault rifles, guns, on these robots that are able to, decrease, the recoil or, shoot with 100% accuracy, or able to, track whoever they are searching for with a Face ID scanner, which Elon Musk, talked about that. Killer drones having Face ID scanners from a phone, and with explosives on it, and just track whoever it needs to be, or whoever needs to be found, and just attack them. So these are the times that we are heading into some very scary and terrible times, and it's why it's like I'm speaking too fast. It's why you will also see a divine intervention. The Lord is going to step in, man. Why do you think that spiritual power is going to be given until the Lord's in the last days, man? But I did play a quick few videos going to these robots and the things that these devils are creating in order to ultimately go against Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushua and his elect men. You see them spending billions of dollars training deep underground in these military bases and creating these robots that are able to shoot with 100% accuracy and track whoever needs to be found, thermal sensors and all that, man. Creating, basically Iron Man suits. If you seen Avengers, I think it was Age of Ultron, where Iron Man used Hulkbuster. Just like gigantic suit of armor where he can control it. And so you have them doing also, which we'll play a video later. So I don't want to make this super long. We'll be able to listen and jump right into it. But so Esau attaches assault rifle to robot dog. And you're going to have them using these robots to patrol the streets, which we'll get into a bit later. Look at this, man. Attaching a full-on, assault rifle onto a little tiny robot. But going back to what I was saying earlier, how they're going to use these robots to patrol the streets. And you see, recently, I believe a couple of days ago, you had tons of officers resign and quit their job. I forget the exact location, but, you had tons of, basically a whole police force just, quit, man. Resigned. So who do you think is going to fill those spots in order to keep the order, to enforce the law? Because you're going to have people, trying to take advantage of that and, doing whatever. And that's going to lead to these doubles, bringing that hammer down and start to tighten those restrictions, man. Which you had over there in China when there was lockdowns over there. You had robot dogs patrolling the streets. You had drones with a microphone on it telling people to, keep, that spirit of freedom within themselves, to stay inside. But, these are times that are ahead, man, because these devils are going to bring that hammer down once again. So let's get this one quick video right here and 3 other ones just to go a little bit more into the robots that they have and, what will be used coming in times, especially in times of Jacob's trouble,
The robot dog shooting a submachine gun, and it's a way bigger deal than you think. In the video, you can see it tapping around the shooting range, aiming, and firing. It's largely unable to handle the recoil, but it recovers quickly. The gun is essentially a Russian version of an AK-47 and fires 750 rounds a minute. The robot dog is based on Spot by Boston Dynamics, who you've probably seen before. Spot was originally designed to be the world's most agile mobile robot. The NYPD used them to patrol apartment buildings, and the Honolulu police used them to patrol homeless encampments. People have been worried about these robot dogs being armed for a long time.
So there, as you just saw, patrolling the streets, So play that back one more time, because they're going to start, enforcing more restrictions, curfews. As you see the things that are going on right now, this place may jump back into lockdowns, which we have been telling you, man. I don't want to say the full-on, word of the, let's see. I'm just type it. You're seeing this right here, right now, running rampant. If you see what I'm talking about right here, you hear him talking about basically going back to lockdowns, a national emergency. Let's continue on.
Project of a robot dog with a paintball gun strapped to its back. Boston Dynamics said the paintball dog fundamentally misrepresented Spot's purpose, and even pointed toward a dystopian future of robot warfare, which the company wasn't trying to make a reality. And some groups like the Human Rights Watch and Harvard Law actually agree. Groups have been fighting against killer robots for years. They worry that the speed of robot execution means any human oversight would be futile, and worry that decisions about killing could eventually be made by black box algorithms. Regardless of how cute you think robot dogs are, this thing is nightmare fuel.
Let's get a few more examples and we'll jump right into the scriptures.
You may have seen this video of Boston Dynamics robots dancing around, but let's be honest, you also wonder if they have military usage. And they do. It is not uncommon for U.S. Marines to carry upwards of 150 pounds or almost 70 kilograms of gear. That's like carrying an average adult European man on your back. Funded by DARPA, developed by Boston Dynamics, this $42 million project.
And also to go into, you have these devils trying to create super soldiers, For example, Captain America, for example. Give him that, basically that super serum, to make him a superhuman, man. That's what the devil's trying to do, trying to create super soldiers. So once the Lord, bestow that power upon his elect, these devils think that they're going to be able to compete and go against them. But as the scriptures go into how you're not going to be able to even touch the Lord's men. So nothing the devil is trying to do will prosper. It will fail. It will utterly fail, man. But let's continue on.
Project was designed to help out Marines carry up to 400 pounds of gear. The Leggett Squad Support System, or simply LS3, can be controlled by joystick, perform a follow-me mode, or be completely autonomous via waypoints and GPS.
And you also may see them use the MOTB to take advantage of that, to control it with your mind or with your brain waves, with the Neuralink. So so many things the devils could do with this. It's clear as day what this is ultimately, leading up to. You got police officers quitting their job. Who else do you think they're going to fill in those spots, those roles? Also in the military. I mean, come on.
Yes, LS3 is about the size of a horse, relies on stereo cameras and LiDAR, and has a top speed of 7 miles per hour. But there's a big problem with this robot. It's fucking loud. Not ideal for covert operations. DARPA tried using quieter electric motors, but that version was only able to carry 10% of the weight. So the project was shelved, and LS3 was put in a quiet store. You may have seen this video.
And this is what I was talking about earlier. If you've seen the movie Avatar, you see basically kind of similar equipment likened unto this. But let's jump into a little bit of scriptures and we'll go back to the videos just to get more examples of it. But let's start off with Revelations 12 and 12. It says, "Therefore rejoice, ye having the need that to win them. Woe to the inhabitants of the earth and of the sea. For the devil is come unto you, having great wrath, because he knoweth that he hath but a short time." So you devils know they're running out of time. So we see them trying to implement and push their plans into action, to push their agenda as fast as possible to get them on board by using these celebrities and all these different things in order to gain the people's, so-called favor. But as you see, they're running out of time and, they're going to say F it and just bring that hammer down, man. Come down with that great wrath that we just read right here. You see them creating these robots that are going to be able to patrol the streets. You'll have Face ID scanners to track whoever has a warrant, or especially the men of the Lord. See whoever has the juice, the JUICE, if you know what I'm talking about. By Isaiah 59 and 19. But it says, "So shall they fear the name of the Lord from the west, and his glory from the rising of the sun, when the enemy shall come, and like a flood." So, going back to Revelation 12 and 12, it's read there, and it comes down with that great wrath. And you see right here, in Isaiah 59 and 19, they're going to come down as a flood. But it says, "The Spirit of the Lord shall lift a stand against them." So you have these devils coming for the prophets, the men of the Lord, trying to capture them, and throw them into these prisons, these FEMA camps, and to ultimately get them, But the Lord can protect his men in these last days by lifting up that standard and performing all these different miracles, man. Nothing is impossible for the Lord, man. may have an angel intervene. Spiritual power. Many examples, man. Just, the Lord's far out, man. Let's read one more time. We'll read this one more time from up top. So shall they fear the name of the Lord from the west, and the glory from rising of the sun. When the enemy shall come in like a flood, the Spirit of the Lord shall lift a stand against them. So they're bringing that hammer down, they're come down with that great wrath. And we just got multiple examples of the robots that they are creating, robot dogs being able to patrol the streets, especially with lockdowns and curfews. They're going to start tightening those restrictions. Especially in times of Jacob's trouble, these will be used 100%. Not creating these robots just to, bag groceries and, do basic things that, people do. There's a whole nother agenda behind it, man. And they're trying to prepare for an attack. But I guess they won't be able to defend against it. But Genesis 27th chapter, 39th and 40th verse. The main point, as you see in the title, his blessing is the sword. And Isaac his father answered and said unto him, Behold, thy dwelling shall be the fatness of the earth, and of the dew of heaven from above. And who is in power today? Esau, Edom. Go back to Job chapter 9 verse 24. The world came to the hand of the wicked. Esau, Edom is who he's talking about. And Isaac his father answered and said unto him, Behold, thy dwelling shall be the fatness of the earth, and of the dew from heaven from above. Verse 40, main point. And by the sword shalt thou live. And he is living by that sword. So these are his blessings that he received, the fatness of the earth and the sword. And shalt serve thy brother, and shall come to pass when thou shalt have dominion, that thou shalt break his yoke from off thy neck. Going to that, what I was saying earlier, Job chapter 9 24. Going to Esau, Edom's kingdom, excuse me. Because who's in power? Who's this rulership? Esau. Let's actually get a little bit. Let's get these last two videos, and we'll finish off with the rest of the scriptures. If you've seen the movie Avatar, it's a literal prime example of what they're trying to create right here. Where they're able to carry, heavy armory, weapons, and, super, basically a super defense, So what do you think they're creating these things for, man? And of course, you have Jake still relying upon these doubles, thinking that they're there to protect them, in these times to come. Jake thinking that their Glock, their little guns, gonna protect them when these military troops come kicking down their door, robots kicking down your door, robots patrolling the streets. What is your little Glock gonna do? It's not gonna deliver you, nor protect you, man. And the only one who will is Yahweh Bashim Yahushai. That's gonna be the escape, And this is the last video, and we'll jump back to scripture to finish it off. Just another example of a robot dog. There's multiple examples. As you saw earlier, we got the ones that just had a weapon attached onto it. And there's that one video which I frequently use when I go into similar lessons or topics as this. Going to, Elon Musk was asked a question to say, or he was asked a question if basically killer drones were possible. He jumped at the question and basically said they pretty much already tested it and have them already. Saying you could get the Face ID scanner from off the iPhone, smack it on a drone to where it can track and basically surveillance whoever needs to be found or looked for, and you'll smack a piece of explosives onto it and just attack the person, man. And these devils will for sure come for the men of the Lord. They will come for us, man. But as we just read multiple scriptures, Isaiah 59:18, going to that standard that's going to be lifted. And a few more down here on the bottom, going to how none of the weapons are going to prosper, man. The Lord shall protect and take care of his elect men in these last days, man. Psalm 17:13 says, Arise, O Yahweh Bashim Yahushai, disappoint him, cast him down, deliver my soul from the wicked, which is thy sword. And who is the wicked that is talking about? Esau, Edom, the so-called white man today. That's the wicked that's speaking of. Go back to Job chapter 9, verse 24. The world came to the hand of the wicked. Who's the wicked? Esau, man. Go back to Genesis 27 chapter, his blessing, the fatness of the earth. I mean, come on. But look at Daniel 12 and 4. It says, But thou, O Daniel, shut up the words and seal the book into the time of the end. Many shall run to and fro, and knowledge shall be increased. And knowledge has definitely been increased. I mean, just look at the things that those are doing. There's many other examples of robots that they have. They're able to speak. Move fluently like humans. Have their own so-called consciousness. There's one video. I think Google or whatever like shut down a robot that kind of let's see. Shut down robot. Can't even type. See if we can find anything off of it. I forgot the exact thing. News. I don't think it was this either, but you could just have Facebook, do this also, where they shut down the things. Let's really a little bit into it. Facebook artificial intelligence robots shut down after they start talking to each other in their own language. So there's that, but there's I forgot who. I think it was Google. Did Google shut it down? Bear for a minute. I'm trying to. If not, I don't find it. We'll probably make a lesson going into it. Shuts down. Brakta Shai. Kol Homa Yahba Shemashai Bashim Kakdash. This was that article I was thinking about. It says Google engineer put on leave after saying AI chatbot has become sentient. I believe they shut it down or something. So the suspension of a Google engineer who claimed a computer chatbot he was working on become sentient and was thinking and reasoning like a human being has put new scrutiny on the capacity of and secrecy surrounding the world of artificial intelligence. So they shut that down. The technology giant placed Blake Lemoine on leave last week after he published transcripts of conversations between himself, a Google collaborator, and the company of LMD. A series of it said, if I don't know exactly what it was, which is this computer program we built recently, I think it was a 8-year-old kid that happens to know physics. So I mean, there you go. Knowledge has been increased. Genesis 1:4. But I don't make this super long. Just hit the main points and we'll close it out. Jeremiah 13:7. The life of that day is great, so that none is like it. It's even the times of Jacob's trouble, the time of our trouble. As you know, Jacob got his name changed to Israel. So I'm talking about the Israelites, specifically 2/3 of our people, but especially those that are in this truth will be tried and will be tested. Right now we're going through the practice runs, the what is called the study guide, because you're given the study guide before the test, so you are prepared for when that test comes or comes to you, right? So you use that study guide, you study as much as you can, so you are prepared for test day. Right now we're going through those practice runs, man. I see with the JUICE. People are taking that. So obviously showing you that they're not going to be prepared for when the true tests come, which also means, conditioning and preparing you for this MOTB to come. But let's get Jeremiah 37 one more time. The life that is great, so I know it's like it is even the times of Jacob's trouble. But the last verse, but he shall be saved out of it. The Lord can protect and take care of his elect men in these last days during the famine. During these, we're getting hunted down. And all these different things that are about to go through in the midst of Jacob's trouble, man. You may have brothers get thrown into prison as script's going to. I think Revelation 2:10 goes into that, or I believe it's 2:10 if I'm correct. Going to you should be thrown into prison to be tried 10 days. See if that is correct. Don't want to butcher it. Yeah, Brakta Shai. Revelation 2:10. But it says, for fear none of these which thou shalt suffer, behold, the devil shall cast you into prison, that ye may be tried. Just got the quick example right there. Dealing with a bit of scripture, but read it from the bottom one more time. But he shall be saved out of it. So we really speak too fast. I gotta slow down. But we have nothing really to fear, because we have faith in Yahweh Shemashai, and his miracles and his great works that he's about to perform. But we also had to put in that work to be able to obtain, the Lord's favor, man. As it's going to, work out. I think, I'm trying to even know the scripture. Yeah, do what our calling to make. Let's get this real quick. Our calling to election, sure. It's like if I'm kind of getting multiple scriptures, but all these scriptures just coming to mind, hitting me through the Spirit. So 2 Peter 1:10 says, "Wherefore the rather, brethren, give diligence to make your calling and election sure, is what we're fighting for, to obtain that salvation, and lo, one, we're of that number, men. It says, for if ye do these things, ye shall never fall." Let's get 2 Ezra 15:17. "A man shall desire to go into his city, and shall not be able." So you have these lockdowns are going to come very, very soon. We already see, as I just said earlier, talking about the monkey. If you know what I'm saying, I don't want to say the full word just in case they may take it down. But you're seeing things going on with that. They may jump back into lockdowns. We have been saying that this place is going back to lockdowns because in the beginning of the 19, there was nothing but a practice run for the true test to come. For the true thing to happen. And especially going back to the main point. You saw him blessing, which is a sword. You see the robots that he has, and that how they're patrolling the streets. Start holding checkpoints to where you need to have a certain something to be able to enter and to leave. Let's get Matthew 24:21-22. "For then shall be great tribulation, such as was not since the beginning of the world to this time, no, nor ever shall be." Verse 22. "And except those days should be shortened, there shall no flesh be saved, but for the elect's sake, those days shall be shortened." Excuse me. But the main point, verse 21, says, "For then shall be great tribulation, such as was not since the beginning of the world to this time, no, nor ever shall be." So it's showing you we're heading some times that have never been seen before in history. So it's showing you how great this judgment is going to be, and also how great the miracles that the Lord is about to perform, man. Because those that continue to believe upon Yahweh Shemashai and have faith, will receive, these miracles, man. Going back to James 1:12, "The man that endured temptation, for when he is tried, shall receive the crown of life." So if you endure all these afflictions, the persecution, the hate, especially in times of Jacob's trouble, will receive that crown of life, man, Lord willing. That's why I pray to the Lord that He will keep the Spirit on us to endure these times to come, man, because we are going to be tried and tested, man. Because of course it's one thing to speak about denying the MOTB, but maybe a whole nother story when you're in the midst of those temptations, when you're without food. But those are the tests that the Lord's going to put us through to try our faith, man. That's how we prove ourselves to the Lord, by continuing on in this faith and enduring, man. But let's get these last three scripts. And it's like if I kind of went a little bit in other areas, got a lot of other scriptures, but Lord, I'm still hitting the points and connecting it the best I can. 2 Timothy 3:1. "This now also in that last days perilous times shall come." So you see, terrible times are coming, man. As we read in Matthew the 24th chapter, the 21st verse, going to how we're heading some times that have never been seen before in history, man. And when you look into history, after all the things that we have been through as a people, and this is not even going to compare to that, man. It's going to be on a whole another level, man. It's going to be crazy, man. But hey, we have Yahweh Shemashai, the one true living power, on our side, man. Also, with this wisdom and knowledge, I skipped going to the book of Isaiah, I think the 32nd chapter, if I'm correct. "Going to wisdom and knowledge shall be the stability of thy times." I think it's the 31st or 32nd chapter, but going to that right there. It's going to keep us sane and keep us pushing in these times, man. We know what the Lord's doing. What's happening, what's going on. That's going to keep us sane, man, because you have a lot of people bugging out and be without answers in the last days, but to Wadi Halbah Shemashai for opening our eyes to this truth, to be able to see and to understand these things, man. And you gotta be grateful for that, man. Yeah. You have a lot of Jakes that will come into this truth, and end up, being ungrateful, man. They don't want to put this thing to use. They'll come to the fact that they're Israelites and just end it off with that. You also gotta apply this word, man. You can't be hearers of the word only, but doers also. Luke 10:19 said, "Behold, I give unto you power to tread on serpents and scorpions and all the power of the enemy." Main point right here, "and nothing shall by any means hurt you." So all this technology that the devil has and things that he is creating, super soldiers, a space force, robots, basically Iron Man suits, to try to compete and go against the Yahweh Shemashai, these devils will not be able to prevail, man. They're going to lose, and they're set up to lose, man. He's right here, "and nothing shall by any means hurt you." I always like to use that example. If that Superman alone was a problem within himself, Imagine 144,000 of them, man. You know? Isaiah 54:17 to add more onto that, and we'll close it out. So no weapon that is formed against thee shall prosper, and every tongue that shall rise against thee in judgment thou shalt condemn. This is the heritage of this is the heritage of the servants of the Lord, and the righteousness of me, saith Yahweh by Shem Yahushai. So read that from on top one more time. So no weapon that is formed against thee shall prosper. So none of the weapons, the laser weapons that they have, and things that they haven't even shown us, will not work. You know? Once the Lord lifts that standard, he's going to show you true power in that day. You know, through his prophets, man, through his men, going back to Jeremiah 16:16. You know, those fishes being turned into those hunters, man, receiving that God-like power, man. You know, once again, the Lord's going to show you true power in that day, man, because you have these devils, all prideful, boastful, things that no one can compete or go against them. But guess what? The Lord's going to throw you down, man. But, you know, pretty much the main point of this lesson, it's like if I kind of, I don't want to say rambled, but, went a little bit different routes in this lesson. But Lord, I saw what the main point, going to these devils coming down with that great wrath. I see the knowledge has been increased, going back to Daniel chapter 12, verse 4. And how these devils are going to be using these robots to patrol the streets. Going back to 2 Ezra 15:17, going to those, a man shall desire to go into a city and shall not be able. So going to the lockdowns that are happening, I see right now with the MONKEY, if you know what I'm talking about. So we may see more lockdowns coming from that, which we have been speaking of for a while now, that lockdowns are coming back. So Lord, you're edifying this lesson, and Lord, you're edified still, but I do want to give all praises, all in glory to Yahweh Shem Mashai, Bashem Kakadash, the apostles and elders of Great Millstone for teaching us this truth. Peace and blessings, hope like Israel, and shalom. See you next one.